Okay, I have a story here that I'm going to narrate, and this story is for those who think they are stuck somewhere in their life. So if you are one of them, just make it to the last. I'm sure you won't regret it. They say a house has a memory, that the walls soak up every scream, every laugh, and every secret ever whispered in the dark. But my house had a secret of its own. I found the door on Tuesday. It wasn't there before. I've lived in this Victorian wreck for 10 years. I know every creak in the floorboards, every crack in the plaster. But there, at the end of the basement hallway, tucked behind a heavy velvet curtain I hadn't moved in years, was a door made of solid, unpolished iron. No handle, only a single, narrow slit at eye level. I didn't open it that day. I couldn't. But that night, the scratching started. It wasn't the sound of rats, it was the sound of fingernails on metal, rhythmic, intentional. And then a voice, thin as a razor blade, whispered my name through the vents.
Elias, you are late.
The next day I tried to find a way in. I brought a crowbar, a sledgehammer, even a blowtorch. Nothing. The iron was cold, colder than ice. It seemed to swallow the light from my flashlight. I decided to look through the slit. I pressed my eye against the cold metal. At first, there was only blackness, but then my eyes adjusted. Inside wasn't a room, it was a hallway, an infinite, winding hallway lined with mirrors. And in those mirrors, I didn't see myself. I saw versions of me that never happened. I saw an Elias who was a father. I saw an Elias who was a famous musician. I saw an Elias who was dying in a hospital bed. They were all moving, living, breathing, just inches away from me, trapped in a silver-lined purgatory. But there was someone else in there, a tall figure, draped in a shroud made of clock faces and rusted gears. It was moving between the mirrors, shattering them one by one, and every time a mirror broke, I felt a sharp, stabbing pain in my chest. It wasn't just a room, it was a vault for all the time I had wasted. I stopped sleeping. The whispers grew into screams. The house started to smell like ozone and rotting paper. I realized the figure in the room wasn't a ghost. It was a collector. It was harvesting the hours I spent in front of a screen, the years I spent in a job I hated, the decades I spent being afraid of the world. Every moment I didn't leave, a new mirror appeared in that room, and the shrouded one would claim it. On the seventh night, the iron door finally creaked open, just an inch. The smell that came out was unbearable. It smelled like the breath of an old man who had never spoken. I felt a cold hand wrap around my ankle. I looked down, but there was nothing there, only a shadow that didn't match my movements. My own shadow was trying to pull itself toward the door. It wanted to go home. It wanted to join the collection of almost and might have beens. I realized then that the door wouldn't close until the room was full, and there was only one space left. A frame was waiting for the Elias that was standing in the hallway right now. I grabbed my flashlight and stepped inside. The floor felt like wet sand. The mirrors hissed as I passed. The shrouded one turned to face me. It had no face, only a giant ticking clock where its head should have been. The hands were spinning backward, so fast they were a blur.
You've spent a lot of time wondering what's inside the door.
It spoke, its voice vibrating in my very teeth.
But you never wondered what was happening outside of it.
I looked into the final mirror. It wasn't a reflection, it was a window. I saw my house, empty. I saw my bed, empty. I saw my life continuing on without me, because I had become so obsessed with the mystery of the dark that I had forgotten to stay in the light. The mystery wasn't what is in the room, the mystery was, where did I stop believing? I ran. I didn't look back. I burst through the basement, up the stairs, and out into the front yard. I collapsed on the grass, breathing in the cold night air. I looked back at the house. The iron door was gone. The basement window was dark. I thought I was safe. I thought I had escaped the collector. But then, I reached into my pocket to check my phone. My hand didn't feel skin. It felt cold, unpolished iron. I looked down at my wrist, where my watch used to be. There was now a scar in the shape of a keyhole. The room isn't in my basement anymore. It's inside me, and I can hear the scratching starting again.